Samson here. So in today's book review, I was reading The Art of Loving, that is by Erich Fromm. So love is not a sentiment which can be easily indulged in by anyone regardless of the level of maturity that person has reached, he says. So reading the book basically would be disappointing an experience for you to think and expect instructions to be straightforward, looking at the art of loving, because it's going to take one, a lot of time to achieve that, and secondly, it's going to take a lot of practice and theory. So Paracelsus says, he who knows nothing loves nothing. He who can do nothing understands nothing. He who understands nothing is worthless, but he who understands also loves, notices, sees. So the more knowledge is inherent in a thing, the greater the love. So anyone who imagines that all fruits ripen at the same time as strawberries doesn't know anything about grapes. That is by Paracelsus. So in The Art of Loving, the book is divided into like four sections. So we're going to delve right into the first one, which talks about the art of loving itself. So the author found some errors which he noted in the book. So the first error, most people see the problem of love primarily as that of being loved, rather than that love is in one's capacity. Hence, to achieve this, people engage in a lot of different things that includes maybe being successful so that they just can achieve the love itself that they desire. Another premise behind this attitude actually is there is nothing to be learned about love, which is an assumption, actually the problem of love, which is an object, not of the faculty. So it's a problem of an object and not the problem of the faculty. This is why when maybe two people fall in love, they tend to feel they find this object that they just want to engage in most of the times, considering maybe the market they're in, the limitations, and different values that they have. And then the last error that is lies in the confusion between the initial expectation of falling in love and the permanent state of actually being in love. So there is falling in love and being in love, or what he says, standing in love. Now, to examine these errors, there is need to have study and understanding. So there are two things: study and understanding of the meaning of love. So the first step to take actually is to become aware of the art of loving. Just as any other art is learned, the art of loving itself involves theory and practice. When grasped, then you can actually have the art of loving. So in the theory of love, the answer to all problems of human existence, right? So any theory of love must begin with a theory of human existence, and that is humanity. So man can only go forward by developing his reason and by finding new harmony. So a human, instead of the pre-human harmony, which is irretrievably lost. So we need to go back to the first human existence. So now this leads us to the fact that separateness is actually the source of anxiety. But then the awareness of human separation without reunion by love is a source of shame. It is at the same time the source of guilt and anxiety, right? So therefore the deepest need of a man is the need to overcome this separateness and to leave the prison of aloneness. That is why we always want to be surrounded by people, want to be in unions with people and all that. Now the achievement of this is done differently. One of the ways we achieve that is by having a sexual orgasm, which can produce a state similar to the one that is produced maybe by drugs and the effects that can be produced by such things. So it seems that after an orgiastic experience, man can go on for some time without having to feel so much the separateness that is there. Now, the orgiastic experience is characterized by three things. So the first one is the intensity it has, which can also be violent. Secondly, it occurs in the total personality, mind, and the body. And the third one is it offers transitory and periodical. But then, to achieve this, there has to be three things, that is conformity, equity, and creative activity. So this desire for interpersonal fusion, the orgiastic experience, is the most powerful that man is ever striving for. So it is the most fundamental passion. It is a force which keeps the human race together. It keeps societies, families, clans together. So the failure to achieve it means insanity or destruction, right? So self-destruction or the destruction of others, which can come in later on. So without love, humanity can never exist. That is where the basis lies. So yet, if we call the achievement of interpersonal union, that is having an orgiastic experience, love, then we find ourselves in very serious difficulty. So then, love is an active power in a man. So a power which breaks through the walls, which separates man from all other fellow men, which unites him with others. So love makes him overcome the sense of isolation and separateness. Yet it permits him to be himself and to retain his integrity. In love, the paradox therefore occurs due to the fact that being one, yet the two remain two at the end of the day. So love is an activity, not a passive affect. Standing in love, not falling in love. So in the most general way, we can say the active character of love can be described by stating that love is primarily given and not receiving. Now, the character of love away from giving is described by having four things. That is care, responsibility, respect, and knowledge. Love is an active concern, therefore, for the life and growth of that which we love. So if you're constantly concerned about the life and growth of that which you love, then therefore love is there. So love between parents and children is another topic handled in the book. So the difference between motherly and fatherly love is explained in the fact that fatherly love is something that is conditional. I'm going to love you because you've done this, and because you're going to do this, you're making me proud. But motherly love is something that is, in essence, the opposite of what fatherly love is, which in the actual sense is unconditional. The object of love. So love is not primarily a relationship to a specific person. It is an attitude or an orientation of character which determines the retentedness of a person to the world as a whole, which is the object of love initially. This, however, doesn't mean that there aren't different types of love. So there are several types of love described in the book. The first one being brotherly love, which is love of all humanity. There is motherly love, as explained earlier on. It's an unconditional type of love between the mother to the child. Then there is erotic love, which is a craving for complete fusion, for union, which with one other person. And then there is self-love, which is perhaps the most important, because if an individual is able to love self productively, right, he or she can give love to others. So it all starts from self. And then there is the love of God, where he says, the more I know what God is, the more knowledge I have about God, and then the more the love you get to have for God. So now, talking about love and its disintegration in the contemporary society, that is the second section of the book, if not the third one. So man's happiness today consists of having fun. So fun is defined in different ways. There is cigarettes, there is alcohol, there is drinking, there is books, there are movies, and all that. So which is all consumed and swallowed, really. And then love is possibly uh, love is only possible if two persons communicate with each other from the center of their existence. So from the center of their existence means it's coming from who you really are, from deep down. Hence, if each of them if each of them experiences himself from the other, then the existence is something that is going to last. But if you cannot experience each other from each other's existences, that is where the disparity now comes in, and love doesn't last like that. In the last section, chapter 4, section 4 rather, where the practice of love is being discussed, we say nothing can be learned about the practice of an art except by practicing. You cannot learn anything without really practicing. So the practice of love itself, the art of love, is actually by practicing how to love. So the requirements for this are actually simple but not easy to do, or they can be easy but not simple to do. The first one is discipline, which is doing regardless of not feeling like. The second one is concentration. This is the ability to live in the present and give in your whole concentration and your whole in everything that you're doing, right? And then there is the last one, patience, which is the ability to wait. So we should wait and not feel like we're in a hurry or we are wasting time in the process. Finally, to speak of love is not preaching, for the simple reason that it means to speak to the ultimate and real need in every human being that is. So that this need has to be obscured doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. So every one of us has got this emptiness that has to be filled. There is this separateness and the aloneness that we need to be occupied by other people. So this was The Art of Loving by Erich Fromm. Till we meet in the next segment, I'm checking out. Bye bye.